Welcome to another episode of Tech Tuesday. Chatgpt has taken the world by storm. Everybody's talking about Chatgpt. So we thought, why don't we talk about Chatgpt this week? So let's look at Chatgpt. What is Chatgpt? Now, if you really expand, GPT stands for Generative Pre-trained Transformation. Now, what that literally means is that there is a chat interface and there is a lot of data trained generative models, natural language generative models, which are a kind of a path-breaking use case and a smart way of doing things that allows the experience of chatting with a very intelligent human being. So in a nutshell, that's what ChatGPT is. So ChatGPT actually is working on the principles of something which is fairly recent. Ian Lockwood and his team, in their research paper on generative adversarial networks that was actually published in 2014, talked about how you can use machine learning, both reinforced learning and human assisted learning, to create data or adversarial systems or networks that compete with each other to literally generate data that can equate or mimic naturally occurring or human generated data. Now, what that literally means is that these models are basically working on two fundamental elements. There is a generative model and there is a discriminatory model. The generative model takes some random inputs and generates some data, which is then competing against the actual training set, and the discriminator model is declaring a winner, whether the actual data or the generated data is the winner. That basically allows the generative model to become better and better and generate almost human recognizable or data sets which are equivalent to the training data set. It has wonderful applications. For example, you're seeing that AI is generating images. That's a very classical example of how GANs are producing that. That on one hand, you have feeding them a lot of actual photographs, and then the generative models are learning from those photographs how to produce actual images or near enough actual images. So that's, in a nutshell, the science behind ChatGPT. But in an upcoming episode, I would talk about in more detail the science and how does it work about the machine learning stuff, etc. And the buzz that ChatGPT has created and the phenomenal use case that has been demonstrated is raising a question: how can everybody use it? How can you use it for non-chat or different types of use cases? We being in the fintech area, we're also raising a question: how can we leverage ChatGPT for fintech? So 4 primary use cases that I can think of. One is fraud detection, right? You could have training set of fraud patterns, and then you can look at, and generate new fraud patterns and see if they can be as good as, existing data sets, and that can help us find new fraud patterns. Better customer service. Of course, a ChatGPT like experience deployed in a custom built fashion for customer service in a fintech would be phenomenal to have. Robo-advisory. You can get very smart robo-advisors who can give unlike before experience of interacting and sharing knowledge on financial topics with the end user. And of course, sentiment analytics. You can get better by using GANs to predict sentiments before they happen and to control users' sentiments for the betterment, better customer service, better prediction of some kind, etc. So those are the 4 categories that I think ChatGPT can be applied immediately in the fintech. So that's what ChatGPT in a nutshell is. Thank you for listening to Tech Tuesday. Leave your comments and suggestions. It'll help me take care and do better in terms of the topic selection for Tech Tuesdays. Keep watching.